Hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. Just before I start, I just want to say that as of recording this, that everything is allegations, and if you're watching this in the future, things may have been confirmed, but as of right now, it's unknown as to whether it will ever truly be confirmed. So this video is going to be about Creepshow Art. Before I really get into things, this is generally going to be a kind of a summary and some thoughts. There will be a link in the description to at least one video that is more in depth about what happened and what's been going on and such, because there's been quite a bit of coverage of it, and this is not going to be a deep dive into all that. Also, if you're wondering if my input is important in this situation, the answer is no. This video is just purely just an observation and a little bit of an opinion piece. If you watch my videos, then you should kind of know what to expect. But I thought that the situation was somewhat interesting, although it's very difficult, definitely for the people involved and the people mentioned. I think that it's fair to say that this isn't really the first time. Maybe it's the first time on this magnitude, but it's not going to be the last time, because this just is, unfortunately. And I think that Creepshow is being made an example of, and given the magnitude of it, so she should, given what's come out. So what's been going on with Creepshow Art? I'm going to start with a Reddit post which will give a brief rundown, so then that'll help you, the viewer, understand kind of where things are at. So this was posted on r/out of the loop, and someone said, "What's going on with Creepshow Art? I've been seeing her name pop on and off the past few months, but recently she's been blowing up after some sort of breakthrough in the allegations. I never really sat down to read/hear about the whole story, so what's the gist of the controversy? What's happened recently that made it blow up?" Also, before we go on, you know how I said that my opinion didn't matter at all? I've also never seen a video of Creepshow Art. Just to add to that, I just want to be fully transparent that this video is pretty well an opinion piece. But in saying that it's an opinion piece, I understand that the allegations are serious and they are fully understood by myself and hopefully by my audience, or will be by the end of this video, and that what happened to Emily Artful and a whole bunch of people, everyone involved, I completely understand that is serious, and it won't really be gone into in depth in this video, because as I said, it's kind of an opinion piece. But as I said, I fully am aware of all that, and I fully understand it, and my heart goes out to those people. In saying that, that is exactly what this video is about. Although it's about what's been going on with Creepshow, it's, you'll see, more of an opinion piece, as I said. So what's been going on with Creepshow? Well, this answer from 4 days ago, this explains it best, I think. It says basically, this person is an art commentator that does videos where she tends to talk about whatever's on her mind, but usually she exposes or talks about problematic people in the media space. Recently it came out that she had been posting on Lolcow, an anonymous site for trashing influencers, where she had talked shit about her YouTuber friends, posted poorly and positively about herself, used homophobic slurs, doxed her sister, and held fake drama generating conversations. Unfortunately for Creepshow, she was caught because the website admins have rules about doxing and self-posting, and after all this they revoked her anonymity. When her post history came out, she claimed it was this person who had been stalking her for years, spoofing her IP. It's not, and pretending to be her to ruin her reputation. It's coming to light, however, that Creepshow may not be stalked, and rather instead that Creepshow is stalking someone else and has been claiming the things she is doing to her victim are instead happening to her. Creepshow's alleged victim is about to come out, with years worth of receipts, and Creepshow has asked her remaining friends to distance themselves for her while she DFEs and claims to be getting a lawyer. I don't know what DFE stands for. But yeah, so that is a very quick breakdown. I have seen some of the posts and some more in-depth breakdowns. They will also be linked in the description, because although this is more of an opinion piece, I am more than happy to have a discussion surrounding it. And then the next piece comes from Wikitubia, which I mentioned in a video last week. They actually responded to my video, interestingly enough, so good on them. This isn't the only controversy that she's been in. There's a few sections. There's delusion and spreading misinformation, which I'm not going to go into. False racism / sexism accusations, which I'm not going to go into. Hopeless Peaches situation, which I'm not going to go into. And, well, this is the Lolcow forum controversy. This was probably edited recently, maybe the past day or two. So this is more up to date than the Reddit post. It says, in June 2021, Shannon became subject to accusations for engaging in the internet gossip forum lolcow.farm. The controversy started to escalate after lolcow.farm admin had revoked Shannon's anonymity and obtained Shannon's post through her IP address, owing to for breaking the site's rules for anonymously advertising herself, deceptively post about herself in the third person, and other commitments. Rules that you abide by posting on Lolcow, and she broke them, and so they revoked her anonymity. That's what that means, by the way. I've never personally posted on Lolcow, to be honest. The admin had also created a full post history, compiling her anonymous posts reflected by the IP. Numerous users outside of the forum expressed their vexation for her use of words in forum posts, trash talking and backstabbing on certain YouTubers like Hopeless Peaches, and utilizing contemptuous slurs for black people, transgender people, and disabled people. Antoons also found out about the controversy and has mentioned it in his community post, jokingly asking his community if anyone remembered when she called him a transphobe and a backstabber. I don't know who Antoons is, but... On June 4, 2021, a Twitter user, DishSoup1234, had created a tweet thread expanding the awareness on an accusation. There'll be a link to that in the description as well. During the controversy on June 5th, 2021, Shannon, who's Creepshow, wrote a paragraph on YouTube community post alleging that her concealed stalker had been impersonating her and regarding the IP address. The post received a relatively negative reception, and plenty of users criticized her for lack of knowledge of IP's functionality, cookie functionality, and a large portion of users criticized her high probability of lying throughout the post. Then there's a section about Emily Artful. Emily's 2-hour-long video will be linked in the description. I'm also not going to go through this. It's long, but that's not why I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to go through it because I think that it's better to just read her posts and watch her video. I don't think it's a good idea for me to tell someone's trauma secondhand, if that makes sense. Especially not in this case, because she has put out a video herself. I would also kind of TLDR it, which I kind of have, because on the Reddit post they said that it seemed that basically Emily was Creepshow's alleged stalker, but Creepshow had actually allegedly been harassing Emily Artful. So that's how that ties in. Towards the bottom here, there's subscriber milestones that shows these, and then it also shows her decline. I think she's lost about 100,000 subscribers at the moment. So that's a brief rundown of the Creepshow Art drama or controversy or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully it's a positive step towards calling people out. The situation with her YouTube friends is kind of interesting. From what I've seen, they're generally saying that she ghosted them. They're not really talking about it at the moment. I know that it's not really fair on them, to be honest, to kind of say, oh, it's been like, what, like a week or just over a week, you know? Why don't you say something? Because it can be difficult when there's all this stuff. There's the Lolcow stuff, there's the Emily Artful stuff, and some other stuff. It's like, there's all this stuff against, but if it's your friend, you kind of want the other side as well to kind of have both sides. And I understand that some people are not wanting to speak out until they get that, although I think some people have realized that they're probably not going to get that. It seems unlikely at the moment that Creepshow will make a response, but stranger things have happened. I will say though that I do think that this behavior should be condemned. I can't imagine being friends with someone after something like this has come out. I definitely distance myself from them, if not cut them off completely. I see no reason to not cut them off. It's very manipulative behavior and just doesn't sit right with me. As I said earlier in the video, I do think the Creepshow is being made an example of, and I think that she should. I don't agree with people harassing her. I haven't really heard, honestly, of much harassment towards her. I know that she's losing subscribers, but I think that people just mainly want answers. Of course, they don't agree with the behavior, but I think that a lot of people are confused and just want answers, and that's completely understandable. But the evidence does definitely suggest that it's her. The IP stuff, for example, some of the screenshots I've seen of Emily's, they all point to it being Shannon or Creepshow, and also her partner. Hopefully this means in future that people aren't afraid to speak up. I can't imagine what it was like for Emily having to go through this, but it wouldn't have been easy. I can relate to some extent, definitely not to the same extent, having been slandered myself for stalking accusations that were false. But I'll never say that I can relate to Emily, because our experiences, although similar to some extent, I suppose, are vastly different. Whether it be emotional response, or potential trauma, or whatever, they're different. It's a bit like if someone went to the moon and I went to the moon. I wouldn't say that I knew how they felt, because human emotions are complicated and people see the same thing from different points of views, and that's just how it is, basically. But yeah, as I said, hopefully this means that more creators will be called out for their behavior, and that people won't always be scared. I know that we've seen it previously in the past few years, but I think that this is a huge step. And I will say once again that I do think that Creepshow is being made an example of, and if these allegations are true, then rightly so. I know that there's a fair bit that I didn't really cover in this video. I definitely didn't deep dive into anything, like the accusations. Like, I didn't go into the the slurs or anything, or didn't show those posts or anything, because there will be more information in the description. But outside of that, I feel like I've done my best to give a brief rundown of what's been going on. And I feel like that's more interesting in a way. And as I said about the whole Emily thing, it's not my place to tell her story. So there's things that should be looked into further that I think would be best to be looked into by the viewer at their own discretion, and not have it kind of pushed in their face, if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to make this video. But yeah, as I said, never seen a Creepshow video. My opinion doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to make this video because I kind of felt like it and thought it might be, I don't think interesting is the word. It might just be something, you know, who knows. Yeah. This is a lot more mellow than my usual content, but I feel like it's good to kind of get real sometimes, and I feel like that's kind of what this is. But yeah, thanks for watching.